Hey everyone, I'm Matt, and this is Making Dollars and Cents at the Box Office, Weekend 38. Clint Eastwood's Sully flew at the top of the box office for a second weekend in a row with an impressive $21.6 million, while our other three widest release films kinda took a bit of a nosedive with audiences. Sully only dropped 38% in ticket sales from opening weekend, and has now surpassed its budget of $60 million as well. So what led to such a successful second weekend? I think it's largely to do with the competition. You see, Sully is easily the strongest mainstream audience appealer this weekend. If you're not into the whole horror scene, you're not gonna go see Blair Witch. And if you're looking for something with a little bit more substance, you're gonna totally pass on Bridget Jones's Baby. Then there's Snowden, which looks pretty serious and what could be described as an R-rated Jason Bourne. So if you're over that whole vibe, you're gonna skip out on that one too. Cue Sully, the perfect mainstream contender capable of flying well above the flock of so-so newcomers. And while the Academy hype of Sully will keep this film cruising at a brisk 40,000 feet, Blair Witch, Bridget Jones's Baby, and Snowden all fell exceptionally short of expectations this weekend. First, we have Blair Witch, which in all regards technically is a success, as the film, made on a $5 million budget, did pull in $15 million globally opening weekend. But this wasn't nearly the warm reception that Lionsgate was expecting. Following the surprise reveal of the film at Comic-Con earlier this year, praise and excitement for the film has dipped considerably, as leading into last weekend, the film only had a 37% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Not to mention, it received an incredibly terrible grade of a D+ on CinemaScore. Lionsgate was hoping to use the nostalgia and the mystique of this film to pull in a much larger success for itself. Predictions had the film opening either at $20 million domestically or just north of that, similarly to how Don't Breathe performed a few weekends ago. However, by Monday morning, it ended with a pretty modest $9.57 million. I haven't seen the film myself, but I know that the less than desired success of this movie really is chalked up to the fact that fans of the genre still have their fix from Don't Breathe, and Blair Witch wasn't really bringing anything else to the table to convince them otherwise. And finishing third and fourth this weekend was Bridget Jones's Baby and Snowden. Now this one was pretty close, as Jones only beat Snowden by $570,000. However, Jones delivered a pretty disappointing domestic opening, as it was the worst one for the franchise yet. For me, that comes as no surprise because this seems like a pretty easily forgettable story, more or less just a cash grab, and is yet another sequel this year. But we do kind of have to turn our attention to the international performance of the film, because if it follows in its two prequels' footsteps, Jones could be looking at grossing $200 million, which is just another example that our domestic box office doesn't hold the same sway over the global box office like it used to. Then there's Snowden, which ended the weekend with $8 million, but did manage to score an A from audiences on CinemaScore, the best grade received by any of the three wide release films this weekend. This one's been kind of a bit of a dark horse for me ever since I found out it was coming out in September. First, it definitely feels like it belongs in more of a January release window rather than September, because it has everything to do with the army, the government, and America. Second, it takes itself way more seriously than your standard action B movie, so again, why September? But on top of all of that, it doesn't really seem like a strong early Oscar contender. Granted, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is amazing, and I know I will love his performance when I go see it eventually, but this film does feel strangely out of place, and there's a reason for that. Originally, the film was slated to release Christmas of last year, which makes way more sense than its current predicaments. But when a Christmas opening fell through, it was moved to a May 2016 release. Open Road eventually had to settle on September, which is arguably way better than its May prospects, but I really do think that this film could have done much better for itself had it come out at the beginning of next year. But looking ahead to next weekend, we have the wildly fun-looking Magnificent Seven and the adorable Warner Brothers animated feature Storks, both opening in over 3,600 theaters. Sony Entertainment's Magnificent Seven is jam-packed with A-list actors, and it might just prove to be more than a fun, shoot-'em-up Western reprise for your September viewing pleasure. However, the film isn't getting great critic feedback, as it's scoring a 62 and 51% on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. Storks, on the other hand, looks like it's going to be an adorable family classic. Yes, it will feature talking animals just like a plethora of other animated films have done yet this year, but this time it takes this well-known concept of stork delivery and gives it an intriguing, albeit comical twist that's sure to be full of surprises, mishaps, laughs, and tender moments. With a tagline like "Find Your Own Flock," this one looks like it'll be a heartwarming film that appeals to just about anyone, but I'm sure it'll do great with families. Well, that's it for this week. Go see Sully Keep Soaring this coming weekend if you haven't yet. Go see Magnificent Seven if you're looking for a taste of some good old Western gold rush days. Or go see Storks if you're looking for some great innocent laughs. But no matter what, go see something this weekend so you can join the conversation with us on Making Dollars and Cents. We'll see you next week.